Hey, what's up guys? So wanted to take some people through something that's new to me for this project. Some of the other renos and housing things that we did before, we've never had to have a structural engineer involved. So this is the first time that I have ever had to do that. And so far, this barn is a Yankee side hill barn. And what that means, if you see here, what they would do, this is 1850's is when this was built. So you can see obviously these poles right here. And I'm sure that they put some of these footings in later and some of them in then, but essentially where it was really rocky or hilly in the farm, that's where they'd place the barn just because it wasn't a really usable land. So this barn was put on a spot where it wasn't very usable. They would often dig into the side hill, build the barn on there, then dig it back out. So discussing some earlier things with people, it looks for the most part that this is pretty structurally sound. It hasn't moved a lot in this time, and these rock wall foundations on the two sides right here really are supporting all of this barn for the most part and are doing a great job of it and really haven't moved. So for the most part, the structure is good to go in terms of just being structurally sound. It's not going anywhere. It hasn't gone anywhere in like 200 years, but there's now a total different set of rules that you have to abide by, obviously, if you're gonna have people in here, because it was created obviously for livestock. And they would just use the lumber that was on the land. They would clear the land to use it for farming. They would use just whatever lumber was in the land for creating the barn. And even in the house, we found some of our house is supported by a stump. So when this was created to be a barn, even though it's really structurally great and not moving for all this time, it needs to be about 4 times engineered more for humans to be in it for safety purposes. So it needs to be 4x what you're actually doing in engineering to qualify it as safe. So that's what we need to do with a structural engineer. Is right now this has walls, a roof, and it's got a foundation that would suffice to hold dairy cows and all sorts of weight in there. But now we need to make it so that, we have to seal off obviously this bottom here. Wildlife can just get into all of the studio build, or we have to redo the roof. We're either gonna do a slab on grade, which is where we would actually fill in all this underneath us, or we're going to be, what I'd prefer for more space to run the business out of, would be to fill in these sides here with cement, which would take jacking up the building a little bit and quite a bit of a thing. And we'll learn how much that costs later, but we're figuring it out along the way here. But essentially, you need a structural engineer when you don't know what you would need to do to have the building be what it needs to be if it wasn't for that use and not intended at any point in history for that use. You need a structural engineer to help you figure out, is this structurally sound? What else do we need to do to over-engineer that and 4x that engineering for safety so that we can do this thing? So today I am going to be going into the crawl space, like the crawl space I've never even been in, not the typical basement that I've been in and I've showed you other videos of. Today I'm gonna actually be in the crawl space where it is a crawl space. Like we're talking like 2 to 3 feet of space. There's definitely at least our barn cat that lives down there that's gonna be super pissed at me for being there, but there's probably other animals I'm gonna run into. But we're gonna go take a look down there because there is a piece of the house building that we need to see how it is supported, because it doesn't feel like it's supported well to me. And we're about to renovate another piece of that. And we can't renovate that other stuff until we know if this is gonna work out or not, because then we would have to rip things back down. So I'm gonna go down there, but today I'm gonna see what that looks like down there, capture some video footage for you guys and for them. So that way I can have that ready to go for my visit for that engineer on Wednesday to go over what else we need to get done other than just the barn build, so that we can really get to work on this apartment here and get more progress done on here. So yeah, learning a lot about structural engineers, and if you have any questions, then hit me up below. Just for context, we need to find out what's underneath here, because I don't think you'll be able to see it from this, but if you look under here, this hallway, it really just goes down, and we don't know what's underneath there. So we're gonna be underneath here today, hopefully, if I can get there. we're gonna be underneath the barber shop, trying to figure out what's underneath there. We're gonna be underneath the carriage house, which is not that bad to get under. And we are gonna try to follow all the way through and get underneath the apartment. The other side of this is the lofted apartment, and that's pretty close to the floor. And I need to see what I can run for electric and plumbing and all sorts of stuff underneath there, and if that's even possible. I need to see what's going on. I know that there's already stuff running here. So we are going underneath the carriage house today, going in through an entrance over here. And I'm gonna wear a GoPro and a light and everything, so you guys can see what's going on here. How's that, man? How's that? Got my light, got my GoPro. You guys will see, I guess, both sides of what we see underneath there. So our barn cat's underneath here. She's gonna be pissed that we're down here, by the way. I know, I'm coming down there. I'm coming right where you're at too. I gotta come in there. I gotta see what's going on. Come on, get out of there. Oh, shit. I gotta go. I gotta go right where she's at. She's running away from me in there. This is, I don't know if you can see it, that's our barn cat shelter that I made. Where are you, Penny? Great. That is the barn cat shelter that I made for Penny right there. Where are you at, girl? Hey, Penny, I gotta come in there, sweetie. Okay, well, Penny, I gotta get down there. This is not what I expected today. I expected it to be hard enough to come in. I gotta come in. Oh man. Yeah, this is no joke. Oh my God. This is where right now, this is the carriage house. So structurally, we've got a lot to figure out here. It is possible that we'll have to actually take down this place, which is what I don't want to do. You can see there's a lot of debris down here. There is plumbing that they ran that has the bathroom sink and toilet already in this building here, but you know, these are on timbers, and so these really need to be on concrete foundation, and I believe that there's a way that we can create a concrete foundation on the side and then lift these timbers up and then support with extra joists. But that's going to be part of what we're figuring out when our structural engineer comes by to let us know what's going on. Now, hey Penny girl, I have to come in here. I have to come in here. I know you don't want me in here. And I honestly don't want to be in here either. Oh, dude. This is like 2 feet. I have to come in here, girl. Wow. This is actual crawl space. There's a lot under here. This is, I don't even know, I can't, oh my God. How did they get any of this under here? It's not great underneath here. I'm in almost less than a foot. And the only way I'm doing anything under here, I mean, the support looks good. It's not insulated, which is not ideal. I might have to come down here and insulate, which will make me really sad. And I think I'm gonna have to do it for the apartment. For running anything, you know, I can see the plumbing over there. I mean, I don't know. No plumber's gonna want to talk to me about this project. This is a nightmare. Underneath here, you can barely even. You can barely do anything under here. I'm actually crawling in this crawl space. This is legit crawl space. We're definitely maybe not even a full 2 feet. It's kind of what I figured it was, but it's not ideal. Underneath here, it's just not ideal. The floor joists look good. I mean, this is supported well. Gotta be insulated. All right. I was hoping to get all the way over there. Does not seem like I'm getting over there. It's probably gonna have to be figured out. Hey, Penny. So that's going to the sink. Oh my God, bro. I wasn't prepared for this. I was not prepared for getting in here and doing this. I was not prepared for this. Oh my God. I can't get in there. Hopefully I'm getting out of here, I hope. That's not ideal. There's nothing about this that's ideal. Literally nothing, dude. Oh. No, this is good, actually. So this. Oh. All right, so people, sorry my audio is not great, but this is underneath that front entrance. So, oh man, I've got so much living things on me. I hope that our barn cat is not trying to attack me. This is underneath, this is all the walkway here. All this is. And honestly, it's not on, it's definitely not legit. But it's not the worst. Should be okay to just put new subfloor on and call it, but this should be insulated underneath here. And that's not gonna be a good job. It's not gonna be fun for me. This is all the apartment and all this should be insulated, all this walkway and everything. There's too much stuff underneath here. It shouldn't be here. All right, so last thing that we want to check out, just so you can see kind of before and after of like what we end up tackling with the structural engineer on the barn piece. So obviously you can see behind me, we need to make it so that there's walls here. This is very much a barn. I mean, there's nothing that I've changed in here. I've just been cleaning up. There's nothing that I've changed yet to make it so that it's not a barn. So that's what this is going to be about. Most of what we're looking at right now is, okay, If we've got really good timber below, you know, we're probably gonna be adding in additional floor joists. I'm hoping to take up all of the barnwood floor and put down actual subfloor and level it out, and then retake whatever is good barnwood, put it through a planer, put it through something to do, I forget what the tool is called, you might correct me out there, but there is a tool that will actually put tongue and groove in it, and put that back down for the live room of the barn for the recording studio. The live room of the recording studio, I want to put down all of the original barnwood back down. I just don't want it to be the subfloor because A, it looks super sick, so I want it to be the floor. B, I know that we have to do work on the flooring in here, so I'd rather have that be ugly old subfloor and bring this back to life some way. That's the tentative plan, to see if we can do that. But like Ethan, this is a loft that we don't need, so that's okay. Even in this wood, you know, you can see this tie right here. This is probably to keep it from falling away, to keep these walls good. So we have to make sure that they didn't do that as a solve, or if that was preemptive. Seeing that in there, some of these pieces up high, that's a really good sign for us from what I've been reading, because that means that we're starting to get a little bit ornamental, which means that they probably had a little bit more money than others would have when they were designing this. If we're getting a little bit ornamental, that means that we're probably doing a good job. For me, I read up a lot on this property, and this was owned by two brothers. They were called the Ramsdell brothers, and they owned the street. They started the street. They bought up all this farmland. They had people housed in this farmhouse here while they were building the road, and so they had money. They were people that owned this road and owned a lot of other things and paid a lot of people, which means a lot of the construction of this barn is, lucky for us, probably made of some really great things, which is why we're in a good starting point here to get it structurally sound versus some other stuff. We kind of lucked out on that. That's not something that I knew before we purchased. Check this out. I mean, if you look at some of this, this was used for animals for years. So you can see here that there's been some activity. So we have, this is a supportive beam. There's stuff like that. There's stuff that's gotta happen in here. And so we're gonna be taking about 2 or 3, 4 hours going through this place and figuring out what has to happen to make it safe for people, what has to happen to make it safe to start building other things on before we can move this away from being a barn and move towards being a recording studio. A lot of stuff could happen. We have no idea. I have no idea. I'll let you know. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching me crawl through crap and climb on things and just try not to get attacked by my barn cat. If you like watching a project like this, watching us work towards renovating, building a recording studio, working business, mindset, all that stuff, feel free to check out my podcast called Waking Up From Work Podcast. It's got some other things that I kind of tackle, interviewing a lot of small businesses, musicians, artists, and entrepreneurs about how they get stuff done. If you're liking what you're seeing here, I would really encourage and appreciate if you would like and subscribe to this. I won't be that person to be like, smash that like button. Why don't you smash that like button? I'm not there yet because I haven't been YouTubing for very long, but maybe I'll be that guy someday. But seriously, if you could subscribe, like, comment, let me know what you think. All that stuff helps us grow this thing. All that helps us share. And if you have any questions on what we're seeing, I am learning every day what I'm supposed to know, but I don't know everything. And I might have said a bunch of wrong shit on this thing anyway. So don't take everything I say as the right exact way. I'm figuring it out. But I want to share that with you so you can see how I'm figuring it out. If there's anything that I'm not covering or questions you may have, I'll do my best to answer them for you. And thank you guys for watching this show out every other Friday if you want to keep up with us. Peace.